Welcome back to ESL 1 in Cologne. Thank you very much to Easy. That was very, very swift of him. He managed to duck out of the way of the camera. Dogbert is back with me. Dogback is Bert with me. I'm just tongue-tied because I know how much adrenaline is flowing through your body right now. You've just come off the back of a huge win. Your team went absolutely crazy. How difficult was it for you to be separated by a few rooms?
Not that difficult, because my heart was like out here the whole time. There were so many times where I literally thought that was it, and that was just crazy.
Yeah, no, D-Man came and joined us in the street. For anyone out there who's a Battlefield friend, you'll know that D-Man has been a Battlefield 1942 player in the past, a long, long time ago, with the original Team Dignitas. So great for him to be here. He sat alongside me, and we were watching, and we were kind of going, oh, look, well, now they've lost this now. And then, oh, well, hang on, trip cap. And then suddenly it's back on again, and they win by a few tickets. Extraordinary play by them.
Yeah, and everything went right. MYM made a few mistakes. Dignitas, everything went well. In Wahlberg we trust. Hashtag. That's the one I've been using. And seriously, he got 2 kills, a very crucial point on the flag. And then you suddenly realise that one of them wasn't in the game as well.
I was going to ask you, did you realise that Sneaky had crashed?
Yeah, but at the time it was everything. It was a perfect storm in a way. Things were just happening, and you just knew it was ticking down. And you were just like, "Is it really going to happen?" And you were just looking at it like, "No, it can't," and it just did.
Downside to all this success is it means that they have to play again now because they're in the semi-final. But I suppose they're warm now, so it's not that much of a big deal. They're going to get head-to-head with the tournament favourites. They're going up against Fnatic, who haven't had a chance to play yet today. They've just been casually sitting around, watching, practising a little bit, watching some videos, watching the stream, and then just generally chilling out. But to your mind, what is it better to be? Is it better to be in that position, rested, fresh, come in, or is it better to be hot and sticky and annoyed and upset but practised?
Well, they might have a bit of an adrenaline dump, but, you know, they're going to have to play them anyway. Maybe a little bit of a break will be good for them, but doesn't matter. You got to play the best. You got to play it when you can be ready, and they got to play soon. I mentioned to Walu earlier, it's a great game, this, for many reasons, not least of which that these are 2 very old clans in Battlefield in terms of the fact that they've played together so much over the years. And it's Dignitas versus Fnatic, arch enemies from 2005 to 2014. It's a fabulous setup. Yeah, I mean, Dignitas is, obviously, we were talking about Demon before. This is our history in Battlefield goes back. That's where Dignitas started. We always have a Battlefield team. That's the way the organization's been, because it's our history, it's our heritage. Very few teams can still say they still have a team in the game that they started in, and that's something we always try to go for.
And Odie never lets me forget the fact that he was a world champion at one point or another. So
he's many world champions he likes to boast about.
Does he? Well, I give him that one at the very least, because I do remember that one back in the 1942 days. Things have changed an awful lot in the game, as we've said. They've come through, and Battlefield 4 is a completely, it's just a totally different game from 1942. But there's still that thread of excitement with the ticket system. I mean, we're talking about different game modes, and maybe things will change in the future, but you gotta love the ticket mode. It's so exciting.
Yeah, it is. It's been a cornerstone for Battlefield for a long, long time. And I talked about there's one thing about this. I'm still a bit shocked myself, but there's no such thing as a boring game when Dignitas are involved. Sometimes it just goes crazy. And with the ticket system, that's something they've been living with for a while, like Evive and Conquest or Domination. You're just used to it.
Okay, so let's also talk a little bit more general the competition itself, about the esport, about the change and stuff like that. What are your thoughts on the CTE stuff that DICE have introduced recently? Particularly some of the things that David said yesterday from DICE. We're going to have him back a little bit later on, by the way, and talk a little bit more about the esports stuff. But what's your take on where is the game from an esports perspective right now?
It's getting there. There are a lot of things which are already in there and are working really well, but obviously there's plenty of issues and things to be sorted out, and the CTE is the first step in fixing a lot of those. There's been so much put up there already, which is helping get the game in a better shape. All the pro players here would have played on it, love it. And more importantly, it's very rare to be able to go onto a server, have people who are developers already in there playing and taking advice in, and that's a rarity, and it's something that's very welcomed by the competitive scene.
Okay, in terms of the esports side of things, obviously it would help if we had an esports mode within the game. We've talked about that already, but what else do you think the pro scene can help the developer, in this case DICE, improve the game where not only does esports get taken care of and it's great, but where everyone benefits from it?
Well, first of all, obviously, people are just chipping in and wanting to play competitively is a big thing. And I think with CET changes, if some of them go forward, will entice people to get more involved in competitive stuff. I think the one thing a lot of people ask me, how do I get involved in competitive and BF? A lot of people who you're seeing here today came through ESL Versus, which is a very good portal for competitive play. When I played Battlefield 2 back in the day, that's where I was playing, and just to get you level up with all that and get noticed by other players, and that's something which is very important if you ever want to get involved in the competitive side.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've got the versus stuff which you can go and play in. Anyone can play in that. You can just form a team and play. Same with the Go For Cups. You can go and enter them, and it's pretty easy to enter them. It's hard to win because there's some decent teams in there, but you get some great experience. My next question was about that actually. Where does the next Wallow come from? Where does the next Too Easy come from? Where do we find these new superstars for Battlefield?
Well, definitely through the ESL portals, but people just want to play with other people. Like the great community side, you see things like we just seen two of the oldest teams in Battlefield, consistent rosters playing against each other, and we're about to get the same again. Like Epsilon off roster, now Fnatic roster. They've been playing since Bad Company as a competitive team. And sometimes they have to find in fresh blood. And what they'll do is they'll just find out who is doing really well. They might not be the most well-known player, but they'll find them. And the best way to do it is just keep your voice heard and keep playing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, I can't speak for you, but I'm pretty sure I know what the answer is. But we played a fair bit of the pubs, and you see players, you see the odd player, and you see something in him, don't you? You see like a glimpse, and you think, he's got good aim, his brain's smart, he's playing the right way. How does he go from doing that on a pub to playing for Team Dignitas?
Well, that's sometimes a long road, sometimes not. I got picked up from playing publics. I played against Odie.
I didn't know if you were going to admit that, because I was like, I don't know, I'm going to prod him and see if he does. But no, it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's a fantastic story.
No, I'm perfectly happy with coming through playing publics, and that's just the way it is for a lot of people. I mean, I'm not the only person here who's had the same experience. So, but that's how you get out there. But hopefully sometimes, in one thing, it also helps to just, talk to people sometimes. Don't be afraid. But it's a rarity sometimes, but you just got to keep yourself involved in the scene.
Find the odd jewel out there though, don't you? Every now and again. Good look after yourself.
Yeah. Definitely.
You were good once upon a time. That's what Pansy told me anyway. So we're almost ready for our semi-final. I can see the team's just about setting themselves up. Wallow's been sat next to that cup the whole weekend. He's literally one square away from it. I know how much he personally wants to win it. What's the feeling in the camp though? I met you guys last night for a quick drink before you had food at the Mexican. I should just stress that was a food gala that was going on there, despite the fact I've been out with this man several times before. What was the mood like around the camp? You all seemed okay when I was with you, but it didn't, you weren't up, you weren't down, fairly philosophical. Would that be fair?
They'd just been on a high and then came out on a low. They'd suffered a loss to Pyro. It seems to be a team that constantly causes them issues. And that takes a bit of soul-searching after that, especially after such a strong game against MYM. And a difficult game as well. They did come out on top in all 4 rounds, but still
absolutely.
Didn't feel like that came together in the next one. And that kind of stopping and starting, they won momentum, and they're just 2 games away from the trophy you're sitting next to.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, so what did you say to them last night? Did you pep talk them? Did you leave them alone? Did you let them relax? What did you do?
To be brutally honest, they know what they need to do. There's very little I can do other than to make sure that they realise that they had a great game yesterday, and that it didn't come together in the next one, but keep focused.
Odie, if you're watching, confirm Dogbert does nothing for you.
Yeah, okay.
I'm joking.
That's really nasty.
I know I actually do.
He'll probably be nodding his head like, yeah, that's probably about right.
He probably is right now. He's probably giving you a really hard time. Do tweet him and let him know that, Dogbert's doing a good job and the team are doing very well right now. Just finally, we'll talk about the rivalry between the 2 clans. I mean, we don't use the terminology clans very much these days, but Dignitas, Fnatic, both started around about the same time, 2004, 2005, are obviously big brands now. We've seen them in many, many games across many years. Quake, Counter-Strike, League of Legends, Dota 2. They've been almost everywhere across the board, and here they are in Battlefield 4. How much is that, I mean, I know it's a legacy for Dignitas, but how important do you think that is to the game, to Battlefield 4, to have these big clan names involved?
Well, obviously, Dig, we're always here. I mean, Fnatic picked up the ex-Epsilon roster. Epsilon before that had been the team had been kind of substantial and always around, but Fnatic coming in was a big move. We weren't too sure how that was going to go. We were if there was going to be if they were going to hang around for long haul, and they have done. And yeah, it's really good. It's good to have the big name brands in Battlefield. And I must admit, it was a bit weird to have Fnatic come in, because up until that point, it was always been just Dignitas at the top. So now we've got to share the podium.
Now we've got all of them. We've got Epsilon, we've got MYM, we've got Dignitas, we've got Fnatic, we've got ASC. They're all involved now. LDLC, obviously, through the Pyrogen brand as well. So fantastic to see so many. I was going to put you on the spot, but I'm going to do something different, because I know who you're going to pick. So you now need to ask me who I'm going to pick so we can help the votes out there.
All right, so Paul, obviously you're very good on your predictions. You've answered, I don't think, any so far. So who will you pick in this game?
Well, Dog, but it's a tricky question, isn't that how you answer that kind of thing? Yeah. I'm heart says Dignitas, head says Fnatic. That's all I can tell you right now. So if you want to vote, you can get involved in these wonderful prizes courtesy of Razer. Battlefield 4 limited edition stuff, headset and the mice could be yours if you finish in the top 2 of the voting scores at the end of today. You've only got 3 more matches, so get your votes in right now and head over to ESL-1.com. You just saw it at the bottom of your screen, and click on Battlefield 2, go to schedule and vote for the team you think is going to win our next match. As I said, heart Dignitas, head says Fnatic. Let's find out with our commentary team. It's Lauren and Jason.
What's kind of funny to me is that actually my heart and my head are saying the same thing. To me, it's saying Fnatic.
How can you not be supporting Wahlberg after that game?
I'm not afraid of him.
Why would you? That's nothing to do with it. But the guy just played out of his skin. Jesus.
Yeah, but the thing is, Fnatic, I don't know. They've just been on a tear with Drunks on the team.
So how does that get your heart going, man?
Well, Drunks is pretty handsome.
Has Drunks been paying you money to basically say this?
Something. But anyways, we're getting underway with the bans here for Fnatic versus Dignitas, and I'm actually curious to see what maps are going to be picked up here. Damn, well, and we'll be taken away from Fnatic as we saw them play so damn well on it. I wouldn't be surprised personally to see Railway taken away as well. Oh, thank God, that's nice to see.
Shanghai as well. This is dangerous for Fnatic. You're leaving. Okay, Railway's a safe one against Dig. You got to take that one out. But Storm being in here, Locker. There's a little bit of danger to this, and especially starting on Storm.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Fnatic chose Dawnbreaker second.
Locker.
Why would Fnatic choose Dawnbreaker second when they have Operation Locker to choose? That is going to be interesting.
Would you rather? I'd rather have a decider personally. If worst comes to worst, I'd like to be able to go, this is one of our maps. This is our strong points.
The thing is, if they lose the first 2, it's just kind of like, but we have that third map to go to to potentially win on. I mean, maybe they're a little bit more confident. Fnatic.
Yeah, but you're never going to get 3 of your best maps.
True. True. I was trying to think of some way around that, but
somehow.
You know, maybe I want to think that since a lot of teams know Fnatic's so good on Locker, maybe they stop playing on it so much because teams won't play them on it.
And also, you got to bear in mind, Dignitas didn't look that strong until the magic moments on Locker, pretty much right to the very end. They had a substantial amount of tickets against them. Flax then was playing incredible outside on C and just completely trashed them for a good long while. Dig did not look that competent. In the nicest way. They won it in the end because of just really hearty gameplay and really putting themselves out there. I can say it no other way, but tactically and in the most let's say logical way, they weren't the best.
Yeah. So
you got to weigh up your options in this one. It's like, okay, do we pick a map as a side that we know we're good at, that we've always been good at, that we know Dignitas have to depend on, that pure, brilliant moments that can only happen once in a while.
Yeah, no, obviously, you guys have been voting at home, trying to win the prizes, and we're going to take a look at, what you guys are thinking are going to win this between Fnatic and Dignitas, and it seems like people at home are kind of in agreement with Fnatic, with 73% of the votes to the 27 for Dignitas.
It's the logical vote there. Fnatic, they are the team that's come in, looked absolutely phenomenal on day one. To vote against them probably would be a mistake more than anything, but I think I'm actually agreeing with Red Eye on this one that my head does say Fnatic.
Yeah, you're torn in this one.
I really am. This is the problem. I've known Fnatic a lot longer than I've known the Dignitas guys. I was never a Battlefield person back in the days of when it really began, even in 1942 or beyond that.
2142. That was the best one.
Yeah, yeah. But but no, there was never my game to be a part of. You know, my games were of the other kind of essence, you know, the enemy territories, the things like that. Hence why I knew, you know, Valutaja. Hence why I know even the likes of Too Easy and these guys coming through, and Drunks to an extent as well. You know, these guys have been there a long time, and they've kind of been within my circle of people I've known. So it's hard for me to ever bet against them.
There's something funny actually about Drunks that we talked about earlier on before the show even started. That he's so obviously he plays other games than just Battlefield, but in, for instance, Counter-Strike, if you guys are familiar with that, he's with like in the top 4 ranks of the entire thing. Within League of Legends alone, he's in the top 3 ranks.
And he's a very good Quake player as well.
He plays anything to at a high level, and that is really hard to have, but that to me means he fits in so perfectly with the Fnatic crew.
Yeah, it is a team of extraordinarily talented gamers.
Yeah.
They may not be the best specifically at one at times. They may have a team who specified in Battlefield for years, like your Dignitases, who've been, you know, the 6 Finns. They've got a lot of other teams now. You know, Fnatic, who's a little bit of an outsider to that one, who's played several other titles. But these guys that, you know, specialized in it. You know, actually, a couple of them have toyed with other games, but that's been their staple diet. Whereas you look towards Fnatic, they're this kind of ramshackle bunch who've been phenomenal at certain games but never had a full strength in it. You know, back in the day when he was called Reload, the man on your screen there, Valutaja now, was one of the best enemy territory players. He, you know, him in an Estonian team was near on, you know, the top 2 every single time for years to come, a prolific player. But then outside of that, it's always been this similar lineup in other games, and they've never quite been the top team.
The thing is, any FPS out there, you name it, they probably played it competitively and won money off of it.
Yes.
That's actually no lie. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, we saw them in Firefall when we were doing some of those shows, and they were still a very top team and destroyed most of them. And like you're saying, there's obviously a lot of other titles out there. But you know, the thing is, right now, if they want to consider, you know, still be the best, they have a huge rock to move out of the road.
Yeah, Dignitas is, they're playing strong. Dignitas right now are the strongest Dignitas will be for a while. If they can come into this, the problem is, right, you look at the track records here, Fnatic barely looked human in their first couple of games, and then you look back to yesterday for Dignitas. They had a great first game, did what they did against MYM, and then they met Pyrogen. And then they started to struggle, and it got them in the position they were in.
I don't know what to say to how they're warming up here.
It's a very unique warm-up. Dogbert actually coined it with them. It started with Odie just doing this on his own, and then the players thought it was part of the ritual, so they all kind of copied him. It's a little bit weird.
So you're indirectly saying Odie's weird?
I love Odie, Daddy Odie. He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
You point something out that's actually perfect for this, is that Fnatic didn't even look human in their games. I mean, if you go back to the scores they've gotten to get here. Against Infamous, 86 tickets on Dawnbreaker, 91 on Ling King Dam. Then we look at them versus PKD, 124 on Dawnbreaker, 43 on Locker. Like,
and PKD looked good today even. They looked damn strong. They looked like a team who could contend, but this is a completely different killer fish.
I can't take him serious when he's sitting there screaming. You see the veins popping out of his neck.
See, but that's the thing. You can't take him serious until he absolutely destroys you in games. So, guys, let's get our attention over towards Parasol Storm. I think that's going to be an important factor here. This map is played very differently by these two teams. We see a lot of engineers coming in this. We see a lot of different play styles.
When we do get into this, obviously, in Fnatic over on the Chinese side. And, you know, let's talk about the map in particular. We talked about the teams. Let's talk about the map, because you're saying these teams have very different ways of playing it, and you're very spot on. And if you can, you know, go into it a little bit and explain why that is. So.
Well, in my opinion, Fnatic play the smart game, and they play a very intelligent way of playing it. But then again, when I spoke to Dignitas prior to the tournament beginning, we actually used Parasol Storm as one of the examples of the non-linear maps, where the flags aren't in one row. Yeah, exactly. I don't think I need to describe linear to you people. I'm sure you can work that out. But yeah, they were describing this map to me, and they had actually the same explanation as to how Fnatic play it. They use the same kind of theory to it, let's say. So their ideal setup, let's say, for Dignitas here, they want the B and they want the A hold. That would be where they want to be. And they want to hold it from the buildings. They'll have a player looking out towards C, forcing the back C spawns to come in for the opponents and keep them there and work those tickets down. That is their plan. take a look at the overview map. It's a very simple picture. Once you get these buildings under control, you get B, you get A. You can lock that other team out right up here, and there's no chance of getting back in. It's a real struggle. So that's the plan. Both teams play a very similar style to that, but Wildboy's actually picked up the engineering class. I want to see what the initial plan is with this.
Well, boys and girls, we're getting underway here with our first semifinal, Fnatic versus Dignitas. It's going to be a battle of the ages here. The clans have so much history between them, and right now they're fighting for pride here, if not to advance on into the finals. And as we see, it's going to be a 2-1 hold early for Fnatic here, going for the A and C pickup. But Dignitas, this is where they start to kind of pick it up, I feel. Like, they don't really take control early on, but once they destroy some of the buildings, that's where they really grasp the control.
Yeah, you can never let Fnatic feel comfortable. Once they get into those set positions that they work out through strategy, that's their danger zone. So Valu already finding Frantic not going to help. Jiquili was to be the player to pressure these buildings. He's been found. He's down and out. So now Dignitas, their options lay in disrupting these buildings and making sure they can get into their faces. But Fnatic are not going to allow that to happen. They're going to be smart. They're going to be safe in this. And Fnatic will want the AB hold. So they're going to try and turn this one over. Leave Dignitas just out towards C, which is where Frantic will be heading. But he's on a solo mission while the others are still trying to battle over B here. We are seeing the push towards the buildings. One man has split through and actually could walk away with that B flag if they play this correctly.
Oh, yeah, if they play it correctly indeed here. So they will at least cap over C. They did get tracked out for a little bit there, so there's an early 20-ticket lead in favor of Fnatic. But let's see what breaks out of B. As you can see, they're trying to push in. They're trying to take their time here. I think that's the most important thing on this map. You have to take your time. You can't just rush in because there's so many angles you could be shot from that it's going to be really hard to actually push in towards that B flag.
And this is the setup Fnatic will want. This is what they love doing here. AB hold, leave them out in the cold at C. There's a chance they can sleep, kind of sneak through these kind of underpasses, but Valu's out there locking it down pretty much, and he's probably the guy I'd least want to come up against 1v1 in these sort of moments. And you can see that's why Fnatic have such an advanced ticket lead right now. Finally, Dignitas have broken through the building, so they've got a bit of a foot in the door, but they need to start taking some steps because they're dragging it around in points.
Yeah, crawling's not going to get you anywhere on this map, and as you can see, Dignitas finally, they're breaking through B. They finally got there. They have broken, the defensive line that is Fnatic, but now it's taken them, 3 minutes to get to this point, or 2 minutes to get to this point. Fnatic, I wonder how long it's going to take for them to swap it back, because obviously they're going to have A, they're going to have C, and we can see that push already coming down at that A flag, but they'll do Dignitas. No, Drunks and Too Easy are both there already ready and prepared for something. It's Too Easy coming for the backside, easy kill. You're not going to miss that any day of the week. And he might even get the kill on the top of that building right there. He gets naded down, but he's staying alive. He has the backup from his teammates, and he's going to be able to push it, and they're thwarting Dignitas is playing so damn well so far. I mean, look at that, 139 to 92. That is a giant lead.
And it's because Dignitas cannot pick up A here. They're really struggling to get the cross. May be just Too Easy was being the pest. But now they have to also maintain this player by Wildboy has to hold back these players, and someone must take down Valu. Valu being here is literally holding Dignitas back, and another kill for the man right now is just feeding him this potential. 7-1 at the moment. Nades finally landing, but he goes for the kill into Frantic. He gets denied in the end but Too Easy's there.
And one thing that Valu's doing so well at A, he's being so fluid in his movements. He's never in the same spot at any given time. Obviously, you can't do that at the same moment because he's always pushing through somewhere else. He gets a kill, pushes through trenches. He sees where they're coming from, gets a better position on that, and it's so hard to take him down. As you see, he's 7-2 right now. But A lot of action happening here. It's a 1-for-1 trade so far. Fnatic still maintaining control of this flag, but Dignitas, they're committing so many resources here. And who is that man? Mort trying to hold on 1v2 here. The respawns on the side of Fnatic will be coming in any moment right now. We're going to find out if Dignitas can't take it. They're committing 4 people over towards this flag. They're rushing straight into him here. And that could be a very bad move, but it actually turns into a 1v1 here. And they eventually clean that up here. Malu picking up the kill. And that will be a finally turnover. But look at this B. Left completely open. And Dignitas, they are just one step behind the entire game.
I'm just going to stick on board with this man. He's on 9-3. He just picked up a double to claim B for himself. He finally got taken off of A. And straight away, there's the backup plan. Fnatic are fast on their rotates. They are really switched on today. They are not messing around. And this is what can happen. And Valu picking up another on the way back through. Having to be careful. The buildings are not in the hands of Fnatic at the moment. But look at those tickets. It's not looking pretty. And really, we need to be careful here. So we will be finding out if they can claim anything back. B is under threat from Dignitas, but they've never been in the driving seat this time around. The nades are really tearing them to shreds. So I do hope that they can do something into this one. And let's find out what's going on over on the Fnatic side.
Still B now.
There's still one behind B. He's going in circle or something.
Spawning B house.
Tetris.
Let's go A.
There's one Tetris.
He's A.
Two on B. Don't be, guys.
One B house.
Hey, you guys dead. Cap it.
Nice.
He was alone.
I'm
Are you sure there's not more?
Spotted the house.
Yeah. He was coming back from houses.
Low, B flag is gonna come.
Lower
Have a look.
One B house still.
Equally overlook.
Lower junk house.
Okay. They're going back off overlook.
I got a losing
I got
shield.
a beast one.
Upper B house. Upper B house.
I go pick up. I go castle.
We need to get down B house first.
One down to A.
Spawn here PG.
One
More junk house.
One dead A.
One B house. B house.
Upper
Guys,
windows.
we need to get
Upper
B.
junk house. Spotted.
Upper B house still. Can you get B?
I'm getting B.
Nice. Still upper B house. Spotted. On the balcony.
And as you can hear, there's a lot of distinctive calls that they're trying to obviously pick up quite a few. But just as quick as we went to Fnatic, I kind of want to go into the side of Dignitas here because we're hearing from the team that's ahead, but I want to hear from the team that's behind and how they're going to go about and try to get back into this. Because as you can see, it's 109 to 38 tickets.
Lighthouse low. Lighthouse.
Really weak on trench. Guys, we're not focusing where we're going now.
Yeah.
Come on. Are we making
we
a
got
push or...
lighthouse. I take random now.
They know where I am. Don't spawn on me. Spawn around.
Spawn on me.
Let's take
Let's take the
lighthouse.
lighthouse.
C is there on C flag also.
Yeah, we know that.
Did you get lighthouse?
One green box. Gonna push green box. Green box low. Please help me.
I'm pushing C.
Yeah, nice. That was him. One bunker.
Nice.
As you can hear, I mean, Walu trying to be that leader for them, saying, guys, focus up, calm down. We need to start, really coming together as a team because right now, you look at that, they're tri-capped, and they will be able to get C back, it looks like, in split second here. But still, I mean, the damage is being done. They are so low on tickets. Wow, that is a good grenade, and that is a flying dead body.
2-1 though. It's not the ideal position for Dignitas. They are really struggling here. 100 tickets to 20. I feel they've almost got themselves out of this map. That silence you heard in between the calls was the moment they're going to each other. I'm not sure if we can do this on this map. That's where the problem comes in.
That's so deadly too for a team.
It is. It really is. Once those calls stop coming in, you're in trouble. And I've got to point out, the two players who I feel can be heavy hitters, people say Drunks can be. I feel it's Valo and Too Easy. They're the ones who are really just causing problems for Dignitas. And they're the guys who are having near on free reign on occasion. There's no, real strategy coming out from Dignitas at times. It's sloppy and it's not looking good. They need to take away as many tickets as possible from Fnatic, but at the moment, Fnatic just look like they're having a great time taking flag after flag and just doing the damage, and this could be a triple cap to end with. Right now Valu has picked up on towards C. We've got players over on towards B, and those tickets are just flooding away from Dignitas after such a great start. This is not what you want to be seeing.
Dignitas is not even getting the opportunity to come back in this one. I mean, look at kills, 53 to 35. Just ridiculous. Valu at 14 and 6, Mort at 11 and 8. It's just, how can you really come back from that when Fnatic looks so dominating? And obviously, Dignitas are coming into this game off a high beating Meat Makers and such a close kind of ending that has get you so pumped up, but that has to stop them right in their tracks. That's got to be running into a brick wall right there.
It's the same thing we said yesterday. They struggled against Pyrogen. They struggled after coming off such a brilliant victory to make it count. And Fnatic look like they mean business.
Look at Mort. He's just sitting there like, another day the job. I mean, they didn't struggle in that game at all.
No, they really didn't. They played smart. They played the game they wanted. The amount of times they had that AB hold was just ridiculous, and then it just leaves Dignitas in shambles. You need the leaders to step up and direct your team to get back away from that, and occasionally they'd break through. They were killing them, but they just never made anything out of it, and it's given Fnatic breathing room, and that's the last thing you want. This is why Fnatic get frustrated against teams that just rush them constantly. Your Infamouses, your Pyrogens occasionally. If you get in their faces, see, if only you do that right up to their face, you never know, but if you got in their faces and just really fluster them, they can get really angry. You've seen Too Easy. He got really vocal before.
I remember them playing against Infuse in the groups and how much he appreciated the way Infuse played against him, being so random and in their face.
You do that, you throw them off their game. You play slow, careful, waiting for moments to be given to you. Battlefield, Fnatic thrive in that sort of situation.
The thing is, what's kind of funny about Fnatic is they've never, well, at least their old lineup, they never had, let's just say, the best aimers in the world. Everyone could shoot every single shot. No, hold on, let me talk about this. But because of that, because they played so many different games, they've worked on their strategy, their synergy so damn well. So if you play slow against them, if you play the strategy game, they're going to outclass you on that almost every single time, I want to say.
such well. Very Fnatic. But yes, it's true. You can't play them at their own game. It doesn't work. There's very few teams who've ever lost against that, and we are going to be following Fnatic from the start here, who will be starting on the Chinese side. Let's see what they're going for at the very start. They look actually quite confident. They're not going to be really heading out towards A. They go for the challenge over at B. Valu has kicked things off here, picking up the assist with Unfix, actually getting the kill with that ACWR, the engineering weapon. There's a little bit more competent at long range than the others, but still, this is a good start for Dignitas. They could actually pick up a trip cap. I don't feel they're in the best position to maintain it, however.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I'm not mistaken, Fnatic are in all the buildings and are finally going around for a couple of caps. But the thing is, they can play this kind of game. They're allowed to just because of their first half performance, because of those 96 tickets that they have to work with here. And honestly, you know, Dignitas, this does give them a little bit of momentum here. If they can hold out on the next couple of pushes, I want to say they can have momentum to do it. But as you can see, and as you're showing, there's no blue on the map. They're just dead. I mean, they're finally starting to come back in, but you know, if Fnatic keep killing like this, then what is Dignitas supposed to do? I mean, look towards map 2, I guess?
Pretty much. This is yeah. If they weren't able to maintain, then they might have to start looking towards the next map here, because right now, once you give Fnatic a glimpse of a lead, they're going to start just building and building and building. I'd love to say there's going to be a turning point, but really, Jerks yet to get a kill. Sneaky and Frantic on one, Willie on one, whereas obviously it's quite a clear picture for Fnatic right now, and you know, Dignitas is struggling to get in on the map. It's not looking good at all. Dignitas actually they're trying to take over the buildings, but Fnatic have this unorthodox hold here of the BC flags. It's not exactly the standard setup that we see, but it's the one we'll be working with this time. But you know, they don't even have to take over A. This is the threat of that, you know, holding C, however, because you get those random spawns around the backside, so it might even up a little bit. But you can already see those tickets are getting close.
Yeah, I mean, they're ridiculously close. There's what, 20 tickets right now, and so Dignitas has obviously fallen on the first map. And you know, I'm kind of sad. Like, yeah, my heart and my brain said Fnatic, but I want to see Dignitas do well. They're such a great bunch of guys. They work really hard, and you know, to see them kind of get stomped like this is not exactly what we want to see out of a semifinal. But that might just be the difference between these two teams here. And right now, Fnatic are not giving them an inch, and we're going to see Dignitas finally get a 2-cap back here. But as you can see, that is a lot of tickets they have to work with, or they don't have to work with, sadly.
Yeah, it's not much to be done here. Yeah, 112. You know, I said this before when Dignitas actually did turn it around, but I think Fnatic are a very different beast coming in fresh to this one. Valu did find the kill there towards Uquili, and as you said, you know, Fnatic have time to work with. They don't need to rush these strategies. They're constantly getting players like in these positions to challenge down on C, and this is once again the threat of having this site in your control. If you're not just out on a limb here, it can be turned over very, very quickly in almost a singular fashion. We are going to have to see Wildberg going for the challenge. He gets the tag. He's going to get taken down, and Fnatic are just swarming these sites. They could get a trip cap here.
They're going for it. They have enough men over towards the B flag, but Tweezy does get taken out from the buildings. So Dignitas getting a little bit of control from that, but I'm just seeing still they are down in caps, and it's 2-1 here, and 104 tickets. That's what, 8 more to go, and that's going to be it here. 8 tickets when you have to take away 111 from the other team. We've seen comebacks, but never to this extent here. And with them cleanup kills left and right, that would be ticket by ticket taken away, and that will be Fnatic secure themselves this first map in a best 3 on the semifinals, and now going to be taking us over to Dawnbreaker. And Dawnbreaker, to me, I don't know about you, Pansy, but I've always seen Dawnbreaker to be, at least in the early stages, one of Dignitas' strongest maps.
I feel they can struggle on it, though. I feel that they take a little bit of warming up to it, and it's a map very similar to this one. Obviously, the game is now into just garbage time. It has pretty much been won here by Fnatic. You can see them just taking it calmly. But yeah, it's for me, the next map is just going to be about them playing smartly. For Dignitas, they need good leadership. They need to stay focused, and they need to make the right calls. At that moment, they were just trailing to Fnatic. Fnatic, once again, looking like they haven't been challenged yet.
I completely agree. I mean, we went over the scores earlier on. The lowest they ever had was 40 tickets against Planet Key Dynamics. It was 43 on Land King Dam, actually. Sorry, on Operation Locker Vault ones. And right now, I mean, Dignitas, they don't look like they're phased too much, but you know in the back of their minds, they're like, crap, like this is not going the way we wanted. This is the map we chose, and we just kind of got completely destroyed on. And now we're going on to obviously a map of Fnac's choosing. If Fnac's going to choose a map, you better be damn sure that that's a map they're going to really be practiced at right now. And you know, Drunks, it's kind of funny because you know you're comparing, or you're talking about Fnatic and talking about like the 2 big fraggers, the 2 real stand-up players with Valu and Too Easy. And the thing is, it's kind of funny. Drunks, he can be that player, but he switched up his playstyle because he's replacing Winghaven, who always played that anchor role, the guy to sit back and protect sites. And if you looked at the end of that first half, he was leading in points, even though he was nowhere near them in kills.
Yeah, and sometimes he has to do it. It's depending on who they're playing against.
Yeah.
And as you said, he did take Winghaven's place, and we were discussing it not too long ago. The Winghaven did have to do the kind of the jobs that no one really wants at times, to be the
not the glorious one.
Yeah, it's not always the glorious role that you have to play, but at the end of the day, it didn't quite work out for Dignitas there. Fnatic looked strong. The second map, Dignitas need to finally get some control on, to lead on, to become the team pretty much setting the pace rather than being the ones following it. And at no point in the first map did they ever look in control.
Very true, and that's one of the things that Fnatic, they typically never let you have, and you have to work around that somehow, and to try to take that away from them is probably the key to beating Fnatic most of the time. And obviously Fnatic, they came through in second place. They won the first cup. They lost to second place, actually not second place, just that, but they lost to Epsilon for the rest of the time. And that's a strong start. They've always been performing well. Honestly, with the roster swap, they've even looked better right now. And honestly, they're looking like the team after, unfortunately coming up a little bit short last season to take it.
You guys coming link, spotted.
Yeah, and we are live into the game, so let's jump into the server right now and see exactly how it's going down here. Fnatic going for the standard start, really no real surprises there, plowing forward, and actually, let's see if they can do anything with this.
Well, looks like they're trying, but Dignitas able to get the 2 flag hold, able to get B and C here. But look at this, the back spawn's coming in for the side of Fnatic, which will be your Chinese team here over towards C. They're going to get that weird and awkward A to C hold here on this linear map, but again, it's an opportunistic flag. Might as well take it here, and you spot out a support class. This is the first time we've ever seen it.
It means that, to me, Fnatic is going to be extraordinarily static in this. I'm not sure if that was a mistake by him. I'm really not sure. We'll see into that one. We'll see what comes of it, because at the moment they're being punished for these sort of choices. A's completely vulnerable, and I want to hear from how Fnatic are taking this, because they've been given a little bit of a blessed start here.
Left side bridge, left side bridge.
We got A, guys.
I'm watching lower bridge.
Upper C, upper C.
C flag and upper C.
Bridge down, upper C, upper C. How we go Gary?
I
Take
check
A,
bridge,
take A.
I check bridge. Upper bridge, guys. Fuck.
Don't spawn on me, don't spawn on me.
Upper C down, C down is fine. No.
Pushing bridge, one pushing
Under
bridge.
bridge, under bridge.
I's pushing bridge.
Pick up.
Check upper C for me, check upper C. I'm capping
One more
C.
pick up.
One on B. Two B.
Gallery
Two down.
stairs.
Down. Down B. Be clear.
Junks one, maybe highway probably.
I'm checking highway spawn.
I'm healing.
They're not there.
Take control of junk, please.
Hey.
Pick up one. Set up jump.
Alrighty, so we're going to come out of that. Fnatic do have the triple cap right now, looking deadly in their execution and their fast rotating styles. There's no respite for Dignitas here.
There isn't. We mentioned, or you mentioned, Fnatic using a support class, and actually I saw him for a split second there. He's using the LMG, and he was sitting in the backside of C trying to hold on to it, maybe just sit there and kind of be a mobile turret, but he died before he even got a single kill off of that. So maybe it was a little bit of a misclick. Maybe he's just trying something a little bit different here. But either way, one thing that we can tell you, they're currently down 1-2 here and already have dropped 35 tickets under Fnatic, and not to mention Jaquili, the last man standing in the squad. This is not a good sign for Dignitas.
No, this is a terrible sign. I don't know what to make of this. They look completely outclassed by Fnatic, in complete honesty, and Dignitas are struggling to make it off of A. They have a good site there in their hands, and now they need to start working down. They need to start using cores. It seems as though they're just going in dribs and drabs, and Wahlberg even yet to get a kill, which is disastrous. See, another triple cap for Fnatic right now. My heart breaks for Dignitas, but they're just not playing a good enough game against Fnatic here. They're being outclassed, outpicked, outgunned, and outnumbered.
When you have all that against you, you can't really expect to win here. I mean, they were down, what, 30 tickets? Now it's 60. And right now, as you can see, Wallow 0-6, unfortunately. I'm not trying to point him, or, obviously talk bad about him, but he's typically not the man to ever, be the bottom fragger for his team. And right now, we definitely need to listen on their comms, because I can guarantee there's some frustration in there.
Let's get one flag.
Yeah. Call for A now.
I'm dead.
Start from here.
One on A.
Fuck, yeah, there he is.
Okay, it's okay, guys.
It's okay, let's
Nice,
play.
it's down.
Nice.
Let's play.
Yeah, we'll still have tickets, so let's go.
Lobby.
We got this.
Lobby going a sensor.
One sniper. I got one.
Now let's do the push.
Yeah, I'll take slope straight away.
Do the push now.
Yeah.
Coming slope.
I'll stay on A, you go.
Go sniper.
I go sniper.
Sniper down.
Nice.
He's still behind. He's in the tower.
Pushing us.
Castle, castle.
Oh, Pat. Be flag dead.
Nice.
Castle still.
He came out of tower.
Coming A. He's coming A lobby.
I know.
Oh, something from
Pat.
heaven.
I'm going towards B flag.
Nice. Nice. They're on A. They're on A.
Oh,
Two guys
on A.
anyway.
3 on A.
And I mean, you heard Walu. I mean, he is not being the vocal person that he typically is. He's trying to stand there and be like, guys, we can still do this. We still have tickets to play with, but they can't get the 2-1 hold, and they're down 100 tickets now on Dawnbreaker.
See, the thing that I look back to is the way Dignitas play. They have these kind of all-in, very to the letter strategies. They aren't the fast, quick rotates, and they aren't the kind of fast and loose. So we're seeing Fnatic being able to play. Fnatic have been on point. We've been focusing on the fact that Dignitas can't get in it, and it's because, these guys are playing out of their skin, Fnatic. They're looking deadly. They're the team we expected to see on the previous finals that never quite showed up. This is the Fnatic that teams were terrified of, and you can see why. It's relentless. There's no rest for these teams, and Valu reading it perfectly, waiting for the push-up, finding Jerk, spotting out where the last couple of players are, and it's hard to watch for someone who's just so impressed with Dignitas, and now see them being just ripped to shreds by Fnatic, and it's a near on squad wipe every time. Jerk and Wahlberg left standing, but they only have C to the name, and Fnatic are hunting that down. They're like, well, you had it for a second, we'll give you a glimmer of hope, but we're just going to take that away from you as well. So Fnatic looking very strong. I don't think there's much to be done here. The last push came out from Dignitas, but I think it's too little, too late.
The thing is, you can see how confident Fnatic are. Look how spread out they were just around the entire map, and they completely wiped them out. Are you serious? I think that was more in a 1 on a million right there, and he was able to come out ahead and take the first half victory. 117 tickets to work with now. That I don't want to be the person to bear bad news, but I don't think Dignitas can come back from that. I don't think the best of teams can come back from that.
Yeah, this is what was going to happen if Fnatic ever hit that offline form. This is the team that is incredible. If we could show you the scores, we would. It's 11-3, 17-6 for Too Easy, Valu 12-5, Mort 12-3, and 5-3, 5-2 for Unfixed. And on the other side, Wahlberg picked up 1 kill, Jerk found 3, Sneaky 4, and Frantic and Jigwilly 6. It's
I want to listen to the comms right now, but we shouldn't actually tune in during this part.
Yeah, I think we should leave them to have a discussion about this, because this could be them going out of the semifinals into the lower way through, and I think we have to kind of leave them that little bit of a moment there, because they are now up against 117 tickets and a Fnatic who have yet to look like they've been challenged.
And what team would do it? And if any, it would be kind of funny, and I feel bad, counting out obviously some of these teams, but it would be kind of funny to see Paragon beat Epsilon and have a rematch. Fnatic going up against the team that kicked them out, that didn't even expect that to happen. They thought they would have had the entire offline finals, but to go up against them and beat them in the finals would be such a huge victory for them.
They would love that as well.
Or soul-shattering if they lost again.
Yeah, that's what they're aiming for. I'm pretty sure that they're here to prove people wrong. Everyone said, oh, they messed up. They're not that good on offline. It's like they're the best team at offline finals. They had 1 hiccup, and I think they're proving that it was a hiccup this time around. And they're taking no prisoners. The work they put in clearly has done something, because they look good online. There's no saying that's not the case, but they mean business now.
I would honestly hate to go up against them right now, because, like we're saying, 117 tickets, that's that threshold that if Dignitas drop below, that will be it. Their hopes will have been shot down, and they'll no longer be in the tournament. And right now, we're getting back underway here. We're going to have, obviously, a side swap come in. Fnatic now over on the US side, on the favorable side. And obviously Dignitas over on the Chinese. And let's see how this one goes here. Because Dignitas, they've always had some really interesting strats to start up with, and they're kind of going for that again. Are they going to take that ramp or rush straight into B? And it looks like they will go right for that B hit.
And this could be a mistake. Fnatic are very, very set up. Drunks pushing straight forward into their faces, locking this one down Too Easy within the buildings. And it is clinical, and it is disastrous. And look at this. Just Jerk. It's not going well at all. Fnatic already looking formidable. I don't even know what to say about these guys. The pressure is relentless. Too Easy's constantly in their face. Drunks and Unfixed getting the kills, and they're just playing smart. They're waiting for these guys to push down. Too Easy gets the calls, moves in, and picks up the kills. And Kate just takes the flag for it. It's
This
everything.
is the last push too, right now. This is it.
This is watching perfect execution in motion. Fnatic are doing it, and they're doing it to the absolute letter.
Now, if Junks doesn't spawn in, I wonder if they're going to go for a perfect game. Because they could potentially pull it off right now. I mean,
they could.
They're sitting at a perfect 150 up to 123, and these tickets are going. They have a tri-cap. They just need to spawn in. He does. Actually, he gets revived. Look at that. And right there, they're already going to fall under it. That's it. That's how quick it was. That's how fast Fnatic was able to take that game. And Dignitas, they're out. Fnatic will be advanced on to the finals.
With the perfect scoreline. If you wanted someone to prove a point, Fnatic have just done it. They look like it was another day in the office. A little bit of a smile for Value there. It's just a rarity, but my God, the perfect scoreline at the end on the second half. That was over before it began.
There's just no words. I mean, you look at that and you're kind of unexpected to see Fnatic just kind of stop. We know they're a good team. We know they haven't been challenged yet, but Dignitas, they look pretty damn strong after beating Meteor Makers. They were so pumped up, but somehow they just couldn't beat the beast that is Fnatic, and that's the other one to put down the books between these two teams.
My heart goes out to Dignitas, but after the first couple of moments, I think we all know there wasn't much of a chance. Fnatic, I think because everyone doubted them after that first offline performance, everyone put all the rest of it up to a bit of a joke, and they're like, oh, they're not that good. You know, it's down to these several reasons. Let me tell you how to play Battlefield. You know, the backseat driving kicked in. I think Fnatic have literally come to this event to prove every single person wrong who doubted them in the middle of it. They dropped a player into a backup position who's been within this lineup for years. I mean, Winghaven has been in this lineup, in this core team, even playing with Value Target for over 7 years almost. And they got rid of him to prove a point. To say, okay, we were willing to make the sacrifices to get here and do it right. And they picked up a great player in Drunks, a very different player in Drunks, and it's paid off.
And the thing is, it's not like, I thought you might be able to correct me if I'm wrong, since you're closer to Fnatic than I am, but it's not like it was bad blood between them and Winghaven.
What do you mean, Value on fixing those guys?
Yeah, I mean, a bad blood between Fnatic and obviously Winghaven, since they dropped him and picked up Drunks.
No. Winghaven is the most cheerful Spanish man you'll ever meet. He's far too cheerful for his own good. What he lacks in height, he makes up in cheerfulness. It's great. But no, to be able to take it, it's literally like removing a friend in that aspect. So you can't really say they didn't take every possible measure to make sure they're here and they're in the right form. And you know, I don't know what to say about these guys anymore. They are looking formidable. They're looking beyond what I expected, in complete honesty.
I mean, now we can talk about this. Do you think Epsilon or Pyrogen have the possibility of beating Fnatic right now? I mean, Epsilon, the only team to beat them in terms... Actually, the only team to beat them, I think, throughout the entire season. I'm trying to remember.
In complete honesty, I'm going to say this right now. I think Fnatic have this. Epsilon have not looked good during this tournament. I don't think Pyrogen have looked as strong as they could have done. But to me, this is Fnatic going above and beyond.
Yeah. Well, right now we're going to be heading over to Red Eye, who's an interview with Drunks, and we got to hear how good they must feel after winning.
I'm sure they feel pretty good, Jason, but we'll ask him that in a moment. Drunks, congratulations on the win. We're starting to run out of superlatives to describe how well you guys are playing. It just seems like a complete demonstration of how to play the perfect rounds of Battlefield. What is it about your team, and why are you so strong right now? And mentally, you all seem very strong as well.
As I said yesterday, we are giving the best to win. So unlike the last time, we are giving way more, and we are not underestimating any teams. We were very surprised that Dignitas won over MYM, and we were expecting Dignitas to be very strong. So straight away, right into the game, we gave the best and didn't leave any tickets as possible.
Yeah, we even saw the perfect game at the end as well. 117 tickets on one side, and then didn't lose a single ticket when you switched over. It seems like a demonstration of the fact that you guys are just going, look, we don't care what the tickets are. We're going to play to every single ticket until we get them all, as many as we can get.
That's it.
No more than that?
No more than that.
Okay. What can we expect from you in the grand final? You're through to the grand final. It almost seems inevitable in some ways, having watched you play all weekend, but you haven't had the easiest of seasons. I mean, you've played Epsilon a couple of times in finals. I know it's online and it's slightly different, but you've lost to them before. They now go head-to-head. They've had a very difficult run through to the semi-finals against Pyrogen. Do you expect them to come through, or do you think Pyrogen can beat them?
I don't really know, but I think Pyrogen are quite strong. I personally would like to play Pyrogen because they're French, I'm French, so, and it would be a little revenge for the team because last time I wasn't there, but Fnatic won to them. So I'm really expecting to play Pyrogen in the grand final.
Okay. You guys are also very calm. how do you stay calm when you're playing in such a highly volatile game that's got lots of stresses and strains and things are changing in the game? How do you stay so calm?
Well, they are calm. I'm not, apparently. I think I'm the only one like screaming and stuff because this is pretty much the way French players do at LAN. Like they have to scream when they're doing great. So it might be a bit disturbing for the other team. I don't know, but I saw Dignitas same way I'm doing it as well. So it's quite a way to motivate the team. I think it's good ambience on the vocal. So yeah.
We've listened to some of your communication between the team. It's very interesting the way that you communicate with the team. Have you developed a particular style since playing with these guys?
I just adapted to them, but I guess I've been like that pretty much before. So yeah, it just came along. Yes.
Okay. What's the key to Fnatic's brilliant play so far? Other than the fact you've said you fought for every single ticket and every single frag, what is it overall? Is it chemistry? Is it strategy? Is it mindset? Or a bit of all of it?
Yeah, it's very mindset, I guess. If we can lose pretty much easily also if we have the wrong mindset, if there is a bad communication, and like if people start cursing on other players when we're doing something wrong. In the case of this event, we did good communications, and everyone was cheering each other. That was very cool to play there.
Okay, what is it like to reach the final this time, having had so much expectation last season on Fnatic? Everyone said they were dominant, they hadn't lost on LAN at the time, and no one thought they could beat Fnatic, and then they didn't really play very well as a team and then didn't reach the final. How satisfying is it to now reach that final and be one away from a championship?
I'm just absolutely happy, I would say. And I can say that Fnatic are back now, and we are going to keep going this way, and hopefully we can win the finals.
All right, well, very best of luck to you, and good luck to the team as well. Thank you, Drunks. I'm going to go and join David Serland, who is waiting for us as ever, and has, I'm sure, been watching plenty of the matches as well. I know you've really enjoyed it over the last couple of days. We'll talk a little bit more about esports as well in the next 10 minutes or so, and also about Dragon's Teeth. But just firstly, the last match, Fnatic looking ridiculously strong. I mean,
yeah, they are
almost invincible. Yeah,
it's impressive what they can do with our game, to be honest.
I always wonder that because I think we spoke a little bit off air yesterday about the fact that, you guys, you're super clever, you put all this cool ones and zeros together and it resembles something gorgeous like Battlefield 4. But you must be constantly amazed by what the top players do with your game and stuff that I don't know if you sit there and you just go, we didn't even build it so you could do that. How have they worked that out?
No, we try to obviously add things that we like, they were like this, and then they do something else anyways. We're used to it by now. The fact that they do things we can't predict, obviously.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about competition, esports as a whole. And I don't want to be mean, but I think it's fair to say that DICE have not always been as attentive as we would have liked them to be about esports, maybe 10 years ago or whatever when it was really starting off. But you guys are very invested in esport right now.
We've tried. We are behind schedule, obviously, on this. We have had other issues. We are trying, for sure. We need esports. Esports is a big thing. It's growing. And viewership is growing. And this is rivaling real sports now, or soon. Obviously, we want to be part of that. So it's important for us to be able to support this.
It's obvious to me, and talking to you, off the set, is that you're very passionate about the esports. You really want it to be.
I love this.
Yeah, you want it to thrive. I've sat and watched you watching the games, and you're just, as excited as we are about some of the caps and some of the games that have happened. 1v3 with one ticket left, and we're just sitting there with almost tearing our hands out. So it's
very close.
So it's obvious to us that you're very passionate about it. But what does the future hold for esports and Battlefield?
The future holds that we need to get this game straightened out, and we need to get the netcode fixed, and then we need to get our gameplay balance fixed in conjunction with that. And obviously the natural follow-up to that is a change of how this game is played, and that of course affects these guys a lot. And that's the reason I'm here. I really need their feedback before this just becomes the game. I'd rather have them tell me early.
Sure, and we've talked a little bit about different modes, and I know that there's a different mode in the works. Potentially we could use that at a later date. But does it not give you at least some encouragement that even the mode that we're playing might not be ideal, but actually it's producing some fantastic matches?
Yeah, absolutely. The only problem I have with this mode is that it's kind of hard to understand if you're a spectator and you don't play it right? It has a bunch of spawn rules, and which is needed for balance, and balance obviously works. We see really close matches, but it might not be ideal for viewership. So that's something we want to work on. And also, I would like to see more of a battlefield mode, you know, when maybe it's vehicles, but that's just me personally, and that might not be what we go on in the end.
Sure.
But it's all based on what we actually get as feedback. So the more of these high-end players come into the CT and give us feedback on the competitive side of things, the better, the earlier we can actually address them.
And it's not just the tournaments that you've come to this weekend. I know that you've been spending time with the teams in their team houses and stuff. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, we got invited to the ESC team's playhouse, basically, and we chatted with them, and, you know, it was really nice. Just being open, being able to talk about the things we're making happen right now. And it's a change on how EA communicates, really. And it's really nice. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time, and finally we get to do it in a greater setting like this.
Okay, what sort of results come out of those meetings this weekend, and when do you think?
I have a note list that's longer than,
sure
you know, it's so long. You know, I mean, that's a problem, really. So many things. It's prioritization is key, obviously. So that's why I need the feedback so I can prioritize accordingly. I'm sure one guy might be the most passionate and the most, you know, he convinces me this is the most important thing ever, and then in the end it's only him that cares, and that's not good either, right? And I wouldn't know all of this, obviously. I'm not a programmer, so that goes for all of the game. We need everyone's input to make it a better place to play.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I suppose the most often asked question is when and how, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I know that you're putting things into the CTE almost, you know, immediately. I mean, within, you know, a few days sometimes, maybe a week.
We have really short lead times. We can develop something and in 4 hours we can push it out. We won't probably be doing that all the time, then we will burn our developers, and we don't really want to do that either. But we can do it more often, and we can have a plan where we plan to have at least 2 releases a week. And that's really powerful. To us and hopefully to the community, and hopefully they agree this is a really good thing, and most of the feedback we've gotten is yes, that it's a good thing. It might be a little bit late, but hopefully we can accelerate past our problems and get even more back.
Sure.
It was a big gamble to run with the CT this late and just, you know, go for it, but this is something for not only BF4 but for the franchise, really, and we need to do this continuously.
Okay. We're going to move on and talk about Dragon's Teeth a little bit. I know that we can't really reveal too much. I'm not going to be too mean to you, but yeah, just a little bit of information out there, and people have seen some of the things in some of the little clips that we've been showing over this weekend. Little teasers are out there. But also, I just wanted to remind people at home who've got premium already that they can sign up for CTE and they can do that. Yes, they can.
You go to cte.battlelog.com and you sign up. We have a lot of slots open right now, so there should be a lot of slots available. You shouldn't be locked out of this. You need premium still. It's something we possibly want to change going forward, but right now it's premium. So if you have premium and you haven't signed up, go and sign up.
Okay.
Then you have to download the game, and it takes a while. So do it when you are not wanting to play immediately, because it's a couple of gigabytes to download. So.
And the players were telling me earlier that they've really enjoyed that environment, because they're already talking about netcode changes. They're already talking about little tiny changes and tweaks that you guys have made that they really love already, which is great news when it comes to...
That's perfect. You know, that's what we want to hear.
Between you and I, they're the worst. They're so critical about stuff. You're already finding that out, I'm sure.
They are. I mean, they're nitpicky, but they are for a reason, and they have a really, I mean, it's a built-up reasoning behind it. It's just not, I feel this way. It's like, because this and this is bad, and that's exactly what we want to hear.
But I guess it's also nice when they actually give you good feedback and say, actually, the changes are really, really good, because then you must trust that more.
Yeah, we do, and I mean, it's good for our team as well. They need some bolstering now after getting out of this and trying to fix the game and get some positiveness back in here. And the CT has really been doing that for us. It's been really constructive, and I can only thank the community.
And as I said earlier on Twitter and on the show, if you've got questions for David, he's going to do a questions and answers session a little bit later on in the show before the final, hopefully, and we'll grill him. We'll put him under the microscope and give him some really tough questions. So keep them coming on the Twitter. Use the hashtag #ESL1. Also tweet them at me. You've got probably a better chance of me reading them, and we'll put the best ones to David a little bit later on. Just before I let you go, Dragon's Teeth, it's who knows where it is in terms of when it's released. Don't ask us, because he's not going to. I've already tried, people, honestly. I've tried 3 times.
I can say summer.
Yeah, summer. Okay, well, that's better than I got earlier. So, yeah, consider yourself lucky.
I can say summer, and I can also say the CTE will probably show parts of Dragon's Teeth early.
Okay, cool. Well, that's good too. So that's even more incentive to go and download this CTE. again, we don't know a huge amount about it, but tell us what we're allowed to know. Tell us what people may not know already about it that's already out there and released.
It is an urban pack. It's city maps. I can tell you that. That doesn't mean it's all infantry, but you know, it's more close. Yeah. It has vehicles.
And we've seen some things in the videos.
Yeah.
You know, you can't give them away because they're already given away. There's a shield in there.
There's a shield in there.
Yeah.
That's something we want to test, especially on the maps that are very infantry focused. We don't want to break Operation Locker, for instance. We don't want to break Metro. Well, maybe we want to break Stalemate, but we don't want to, break the gameplay that people like about those maps. And that's why we want to test it on the CT as well.
Okay. And in terms of maps, we're going to be seeing some new maps as well?
We are.
See, I told you, he's hard man. I can't get that much more out. You already knew we were going to see new maps, so did I. And David's not going to tell us anymore because he's a good man. He does his job properly. I do have to thank you though greatly because it's been great having you around this weekend. I know the players have been talking about it, and I haven't heard them so passionate about cooperating with DICE and making their they feel their game better, and I think that's been terrific. So we thank you for that, and look forward to talking to you a bit later on. Put you under the microscope, a little bit more pressure, and and then let you off, and you can go and relax for a few days and recover. But David Selland, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Quick break right now, and then we'll be back with our second semi-final. It's Pyrogen in action again. And it's Epsilon. Can they come back from the dead once more and reach the ultimate final? Is it going to be Epsilon versus Fnatic, or can the French overturn them and make it to the final for the second consecutive season? We'll find out after the break.